Hey, what's up, everyone? So we'll talk GBTC today, which is going to change things up a little bit because, I mean, it's an OTC, it's a very expensive OTC, and it's one that I bought. So I finally get to do a recap on a long trade, which, I mean, I know it's been all shorts lately, and I know some of you would like to see longs, but truth be told, I just don't long that often. I'm not nearly as comfortable. So, I mean, I'll put out long lessons whenever I can, but the opportunities for it are few and far between. So here's the GBTC daily chart coming into today. It's a Bitcoin related stock. It's been crazy, traded in its own world kind of for the past few months. I believe it is pretty overvalued compared to the assets that it holds, and that's part of the reason it had such a crazy short squeeze back in May. That's really when it first hit my radar. And yeah, I mean, it was at the time a $200 stock, but just divide by 100 in your mind and think about that kind of volatility. It's like a stock going from the 250 area to $5, I guess 550 about where it topped out. So I mean, that's kind of my mentality when I go into something like this. I'm not going to just automatically write it off. Oh, it's a $500 stock. I'm not going to trade it. If it's something where I think that the volatility could be there, the liquidity could be there, I'm very interested. So GBTC, I mean, it's been on my radar for months, ever since it peaked up at 565 near the end of May. And I've just kind of been waiting for it to build back and hopefully break out. 565, like I said, is the breakout level. I love longing OTC multi-day breakouts. This one has proven from its breakouts in the past that it can squeeze and get kind of wild when it does have that breakout happen. So with Bitcoin itself breaking past the 3,000 mark over the weekend, I was hoping that, GBTC and maybe some of the other Bitcoin stocks would have kind of wild days and really get ramping back themselves and get going. Now, my plan on this really coming into the day was don't chase a big gap up, just kind of chill, wait, make it break out, and then go after it. I hate buying in anticipation of breakouts. I'm not good at it. I'm not comfortable when I do it. So of course, what do? I break my plan this morning and I buy after the gap up. I mean, it closed at 475 on Friday. This morning it opened at 525, I want to say, or 530, something like that. So a huge gap up, like $50. And I saw it holding in the first minute of the day, right around 525. That seemed like the support. So I bought just a couple hundred shares at 530. I mean, I say just a couple hundred shares, but that's still a $100,000 position. And it squeezed up to 550. I guess I was right about there being like a kind of reactive ramp right out of the gate due to Bitcoin having its big breakout. But that's all it could do. It only got up to 550. And it stuffed, which, that's well short of the 565 breakout mark. And that's probably really the mark where this chart has the potential to start getting crazy and have more squeeze. So I just didn't have great discipline this morning, kind of had a little bit of fear of missing out. And I felt like, oh man, I've got to buy some of this just in case it starts to squeeze up and breaks out without me. And then I'll feel like I'm chasing a spike. And it gave me a chance to get out into the spike and sell for profits, but I didn't take it. I just wanted to sit back, be patient, and build my way in as the day went on if it was working. And it didn't work. It faded back. I've had that 525 as the low a day risk in my mind pretty much from the first minute of the day when that's where it supported and held and started to squeeze from. So when it broke under 525 around 10:15, whatever time it was that happened, the plan was cut the loss. And like any other OTC, it's tough to sell into weakness. I did not fill much into the weakness here, like maybe 10 shares out of 200 or something like that. It was a very small fill. And, it still was very green on the day despite being at lows of the day. So I knew I didn't really have to panic or chase it down. I knew that there was pretty good odds it was going to hold up and give me a bounce to sell into. And it gave me a couple of tries. I mean, it gave me a bounce back up into the 525 area here almost immediately. Then it had another dip and held at 515 again, and then it bounced up even higher towards 530. So I got two great bounce attempts there where I could have exited into the strength, sold fairly easily into the strength. But I was stubborn. I was a bit undisciplined there. I didn't take it. And then it kept on cracking later, and then I started to get scared. It was just a really poorly thought out trade. I sold some more into this lower day crack here at 515 down near 510. Again, didn't fill a whole lot into weakness, and then saw it holding, saw it wasn't really having any panic after that 515 breakdown. So I waited with the rest of my shares. It ramped back up, and I sold the rest into the ramp. I think some was at 518 and the rest was up in the 527 area, I want to say. So overall, it was only a $1,500 loss. It sure could have been a lot worse if this had continued to panic here and, I continued having problems selling into the weakness. But fortunately for me, it did hold up. It did come back, and then it actually closed up near 540 at the end of the day. So I would have been back in the green on it. But this is just an example where I just did not follow my plan at all on either end of the trade. I took an impulsive entry, and as a result, I was very uncomfortable in the trade for the first hour and a half of the market. And then I was not exiting the trade in here where I said I should. And that's just a bad habit to get in. I got away with it this time, but there are other times where I really could get myself in trouble if I go back into that kind of thinking. So GBTC, it's going to remain on my radar. It's going to be something that I would love to revisit if or when it does have that break past the 565 area. I will be interested, and yeah, it's super expensive, but I don't really care because, again, if you've got a stock like this that's only at $5 and has this kind of a chart set up, you might be talking about a squeeze to 8, 9, 10, something like that, which, on this chart would translate to 800, 900, 1,000. So, don't take this as pumping. I could definitely be wrong. It could maybe tap 600 and fail completely. I don't know. But I trade very reactively. I try not to make stupid predictions. But it's a pattern that I love, the multi-day breakout. And this one is no different. I will go after the multi-day breakout if it gives it to me. But I'm going to try to sit on my hands and avoid any more dumb entries until then.